You've got to be kidding me. Devin stared at the notice on his dormitory entrance. Immediate evacuation required, Building 7 residents. A major plumbing failure had caused extensive water damage. All residents needed to vacate within 48 hours. Temporary housing would be arranged within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Devin muttered, already calling the housing office. The calm voice confirmed his fears. Damage extensive, alternative accommodations filled, sincere apologies. When he reluctantly called home, his father suggested, stay at a hotel. I'll have my assistant book something suitable. All hotels are booked, Devin explained. Major tech conference in town. You must know someone with extra space. What about your project teammates? Devin winced. He'd mentioned the project team but had been deliberately vague about the members. Somehow, admitting he worked closely with an artistic free spirit like Noah felt like inviting unnecessary scrutiny. I'll figure something out. He ended the call before his father could press further. Nate was deep in coding when someone tapped his shoulder in the library. He jumped, nearly spilling his coffee. Sorry, Jamie said. You didn't answer your phone. I silence it when coding, Nate explained. What's up? Have you heard about Building 7? Nate shook his head. Major flood. They're evacuating everyone for at least 2 weeks. Jamie leaned against the table. Devin lives there. That's unfortunate. It's worse than that. He's considering commuting from San Francisco where his cousin lives. That's over an hour each way. Exactly. With our project deadlines and 15-hour work requirement, it's not sustainable. Jamie ran a hand through his hair. I'd offer to let him crash at my place, but my studio apartment is tiny with barely enough space for me. Nate thought of his own tiny graduate housing unit. I don't have space either. Noah's in the same situation. Student housing is maxed out. Jamie sighed. So I had an idea, but it's a bit crazy. Jamie's expression, equal parts mischievous and earnest, made Nate simultaneously wary and intrigued. Define crazy. Absolutely not, Devin stated firmly, arms crossed in their project room. I'll manage the commute. It's not just about you, Noah pointed out. Your commute impacts the team. We're on tight deadlines. My friend Zach is completely on board, Jamie pressed. He's in LA shooting a student film for the next 2 to 3 weeks. His parents own this great apartment, and he's letting us use it while he's away. It has plenty of space. For one person maybe, Devin countered. Not 4. It's actually a pretty big place, Jamie explained. Zach's parents own it. 2 bedrooms, living room with a pull-out couch, decent kitchen. It's only temporary, Nate offered quietly. Zach's place should cover us until your dorm is fixed, and it's logistically efficient for our project. Devin raised an eyebrow. You're all planning to stay there? Not just me. Jamie nodded. All of us. We're heading into the most intensive project phase. We can work whenever inspiration hits. Like our own little startup incubator, Noah added enthusiastically. Very Silicon Valley. Devin looked between them suspiciously. This isn't an elaborate prank? If I were pranking you, it would be far more creative, Noah smirked. It's 2 weeks, Jamie's tone grew serious. We've got midterm presentations coming up. This solves your housing crisis and helps the team. Devin remained silent, weighing options. I make excellent coffee, Jamie added temptingly. And I stress bake, Nate volunteered. When I'm coding for long stretches. A hint of a smile tugged at Devin's lips. I suppose the analytical approach would prioritize project efficiency? Is that a yes? Noah pressed. It's a provisional acceptance pending inspection of the accommodations. He said yes. Noah translated triumphantly. The first challenge arose immediately, sleeping arrangements. We have the master bedroom with queen bed, second bedroom with full and pull-out couch, Jamie explained, giving the tour. Zach said we can use both bedrooms, he doesn't mind. I'll take the couch, Nate volunteered quickly. The couch is terrible for your back, Jamie objected. Zach and I only put guests we don't like on it. We could rotate, Devin suggested practically. Ensure equal distribution of comfort and discomfort. Noah rolled his eyes. Or we could be normal humans and share the beds. They're big enough. A momentary silence fell as the implication sank in. I don't mind sharing, Jamie said finally, his casual tone not quite disguising his slight flush. Nate, you and I could take the master bedroom and Noah and Devin could take the second bedroom. Nate's heart performed Olympic-level gymnastics. Share a bed with Jamie? For 2 weeks? That's efficient, Devin cut in. Though I should warn you, Kim, I'm very particular about my sleeping space. Shocking, Noah deadpanned. I would never have guessed the guy who color codes his notes might be particular. The first night passed without incident, if you didn't count Nate lying awake for hours acutely aware of Jamie's presence, or the whispered argument about optimal sleep temperature from the other bedroom. Noah preferred tropical rainforest, while Devin advocated for crisp autumn morning. The second night, Nate jerked awake at 2 a.m. to pots clanging in the kitchen. Beside him, Jamie slept soundly, one arm flung above his head. For a moment, Nate allowed himself to simply look at the curve of Jamie's jaw, the slight part of his lips, the way his t-shirt had ridden up. Another clang yanked Nate's attention back. He padded to the kitchen and found Noah, eyes closed, methodically arranging spoons in a perfect circle. Noah? Nate ventured cautiously. No response. He's sleepwalking, came Devin's whispered voice, making Nate jump. Don't wake him suddenly. It can be disorienting. Nate turned to find Devin in silk pajamas, remarkably put together for the middle of the night. You knew about this? He did it last night too. Rearranged my toiletries by color. Shouldn't we do something? Sleep specialists recommend gently guiding sleepwalkers back to bed without waking them. They watched as Noah, apparently satisfied with his spoon artwork, moved to the refrigerator and began examining its contents with unseeing eyes. Noah, Devin said softly, approaching with surprising gentleness. Let's go back to sleep now. To Nate's amazement, Noah docilely closed the refrigerator and allowed Devin to guide him by the elbow back toward their room. This happens often? Nate whispered as they passed. Apparently it's triggered by stress or irregular sleep patterns, Devin whispered back. He has no memory of it in the morning. When Nate returned to bed, Jamie's sleep-rough voice nearly made him jump. Everything okay? Fine. Noah was sleepwalking. Devin handled it. Jamie turned toward him in the darkness. Those two are a surprising match, aren't they? You think they're a match? Nate asked, suddenly very aware of the limited space between them. In a complementary opposites kind of way, Jamie murmured. Like us. Nate's heart stuttered. Like us? But Jamie had already drifted back to sleep, leaving Nate to stare at the ceiling, processing those two simple words until dawn. By day 5 they'd established a routine. Devin woke first, brewing coffee with scientific precision. Noah emerged last, typically wearing mismatched socks and complaining about morning people being fundamentally untrustworthy. Jamie proved to be an unexpectedly good cook, while Nate stress-baked impressively. Their project work accelerated with the constant proximity, their shared living space gradually transforming into an extension of their innovation hub room. The real revelation was witnessing each other's private habits. Devin paced when thinking deeply, muttering calculations. Noah sketched constantly, on napkins, receipts, even once on Devin's arm when paper wasn't available, leading to an argument that ended with Devin reluctantly admitting the design was not without aesthetic merit. Jamie called his mother every evening, speaking rapid Spanish and ending with, "Te quiero," delivered with genuine affection that made something ache in Nate's chest. Nate's stress-baking reached new heights when Professor Torres sent a scathing critique of their initial project proposal. What happened here? Noah asked, entering the kitchen to find every surface covered with muffins, cookies, and elaborately braided bread. Torres hated our proposal, Nate explained, flour dusting his glasses. I've been processing. By creating a bakery? Noah grabbed a cookie. Not complaining. Jamie emerged from their room, hair damp from the shower. Well, Torres really did a number on us. I've already restructured our approach, Devin announced, joining them. We'll reconvene after classes too. Is that sourdough bread? Nate nodded, somewhat embarrassed by his stress response. My father's nutritionist would have an aneurysm just looking at this table, Devin said, reaching for a muffin nonetheless. It's magnificent. That evening they sprawled across the living room, surrounded by Nate's baked goods, reworking their proposal with surprising synergy. Devin considered Noah's intuitive approach. Noah tempered his outlandish ideas with practical considerations. Jamie caught Nate's eye across the room and smiled, a private communication that sent warmth spreading through Nate's chest. The boundaries between project partners and something more personal were blurring rapidly. The true test came on night 7 when a thunderstorm knocked out power. Not again, Jamie groaned as the apartment plunged into darkness. We're cursed. I have candles, Noah offered, already moving confidently through the dark apartment. Of course you do, Devin's voice came from near the window. Doesn't everyone in this group carry emergency illumination? Soon the apartment was lit with warm glow reminiscent of their hackathon breakthrough. They gathered in the living room as the storm raged outside. We should save laptop batteries, Jamie suggested. Anyone know good ghost stories? I vote for something less likely to encourage Noah's sleepwalking, Devin said dryly. Last night he tried to redecorate the bathroom with toothpaste. I did what? Noah looked genuinely baffled. It was actually quite artistic, Devin admitted. But a nightmare to clean up. Why didn't you wake me? Noah demanded. Research indicates waking sleepwalkers can be disorienting and potentially harmful, Devin explained. Besides, you seemed peaceful. Something in his tone made Nate and Jamie exchange glances. I've been monitoring your patterns, Devin continued. You typically sleepwalk between 1:30 and 2:45 a.m., usually after intensive design work. You gravitate toward organizing objects in patterns only comprehensible to your sleeping brain. Noah stared at him. That's either extremely considerate or extremely creepy. I haven't decided which. Empirical observation, Devin shrugged, but his confidence seemed slightly diminished under Noah's scrutiny. Since we're sharing embarrassing sleep habits, Jamie broke in, Nate talks in his sleep. In code. I do not, Nate protested mortified. You absolutely do. Last night you muttered about null exceptions for at least 10 minutes. The others laughed and Nate buried his face in his hands. That's professionally embarrassing. I thought it was cute, Jamie said, bumping Nate's shoulder gently. Very on brand. The candles flickered as wind howled outside. In the soft light, Noah had unconsciously shifted closer to Devin on the couch and Devin, usually protective of his personal space, hadn't moved away. This is weird, right? Noah said suddenly. Nearly a week ago we were strangers. Now we're living together, working together, and I know Devin folds his underwear, Nate stress bakes, and Jamie sings in Spanish in the shower. I thought no one could hear that, Jamie said, looking genuinely embarrassed for perhaps the first time. The acoustics here are surprisingly good, Devin noted. Also your Despacito is quite accurate. It is weird, Nate agreed. But also, a not? Stockholm Syndrome, Noah suggested. We've been academically kidnapped by Professor Torres and now we're developing inappropriate emotional attachments to our fellow captives. That's not how Stockholm Syndrome works, Devin corrected automatically. The point is, Jamie interjected, sometimes the most unexpected combinations work out. Like chocolate and chili pepper. Or me in organization, Noah grinned, gesturing to his chaotic corner where sketchbooks and art supplies exploded in creative disarray. Your creative process physically pains me, Devin informed him, though his tone lacked its usual edge. That's what makes us work, Jamie said. Different perspectives, different approaches. Like our app design, Nate's technical framework, Devin's analytical structure, Noah's intuitive interface, my user engagement strategy. Separately they're just components. Together we beat Kyle Stevens and his team of clones, Noah finished triumphantly. That's not exactly where I was going with that, Jamie laughed, but sure. The power flickered back on suddenly, making them all blink after the intimate candlelight. Saved, Noah declared dramatically, reaching for his laptop. Now we can get back to work. But something had shifted during those candlelit confessions. As they resumed work, Nate noticed the subtle changes. Devin's suggestions came with less rigidity, Noah considered logistics before proposing ideas, Jamie's casual touches lingered just a moment longer when directed at Nate. Later that night, as Nate lay beside Jamie in the now familiar darkness, he realized their accidental roommate situation had accelerated something that might have taken months to develop otherwise. You're thinking too loudly, Jamie murmured, voice thick with approaching sleep. I can practically hear the code compiling. Sorry? Just processing. Anything you want to share with the class? Jamie turned to face him. Nate hesitated. I was just thinking that when this is over, when we go back to our separate spaces, it's going to be strange. Yeah, Jamie agreed softly. But some things won't change. Like what? Like this, Jamie said simply, reaching across to squeeze Nate's hand briefly before turning back over. Good night, Nate. Good night, Nate replied, his hand tingling where Jamie had touched it. In the other bedroom, he wondered if similar recalibrations were occurring between Devin and Noah. Their bickering had taken on a different quality, less antagonistic, more familiar. Almost affectionate, if such a word could ever apply to Devin Williams. The apartment settled into nighttime quiet, for accidental roommates drifting towards sleep, their lives more entangled than any housing crisis could have predicted.